What's up everybody, Michael Silva here to do some technical analysis on the price of silver. This is going to be a follow-up video to my previous video. I'm going to put the link right up here and the link in the description below if you haven't watched it. That's totally fine. We're going to go ahead and map out support and resistances and talk about that crazy day that just occurred. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back. We are looking at the daily time frame for the price of silver. That means each one of these candles represent 1 day's worth of data. These black lines on the screen, let me walk you through what those are first. These two at the bottom represent a channel that the price of silver has been trading in since right around September 2014. There were a couple of times that the price extended out, but ultimately could not hold above that specific price range. So really, I had this channel mapped out because there was some really strong support in this area, and then we saw some resistance throughout these areas right there as well. And then obviously we had support down here, and we had one overextension move. That was in March when I did make a video about the price of silver going down to that level, where I talked to about the gold to silver ratio, where all the value was in the price of silver, where that ratio reached an all-time high. If you want to see that video, I'm going to put the link in the description below as well. So that's what those two black lines represent, the channel. This black line right here represents the 50% retracement level that we talked about the price can pull back to on the previous video. Now the 50% retracement level was measured from that breakout point of the 1869 to the high right here at 29.85. Now it just so happens that coincidentally, the price did end up pulling back to a 50% retracement level almost perfectly on that day, which was August 11th. Very scary day in the markets. What this does right here, it shakes out a lot of weak hands within a bull market. I do believe that we are in a bull market in the precious metals, so it's typical to see these type of moves happen. I talked about that in the gold video that I released just the other day as well. So the price did come down here, probably a record-setting down day, down almost 15% in a single day, and then it carried off a little bit lower to where all this kind of noise was right here on this bull flag that we had mapped out on the previous video. So the price pulled down to a low at about 23.51, and then we've seen a bounce from that point. This green line right here was support when the price did actually break above it. So technically it is a level of resistance now. So we're going to go ahead and move that and change that to the color red. And then we had two levels above that we mapped out for areas of resistance as well. I'm going to actually, those are still active areas of resistance, but I'm going to go ahead and remove those right now because I want to just focus on the current price action as of right now. So as I stated, it is normal to see these type of pullbacks happen in bull markets. This was quite an aggressive move and very fast, but when you take this into consideration, this large move to the downside, being down almost $5 for a day, 15% for the day, it is still in bullish context overall. If I were to zoom out of the chart, when you look at the overall context, it's not as scary as being part of this on this specific day. So where can the price go from here? Well, really, this candle right here is a nice candle, especially after a day like this where it pulled all the way down. This represents a hammer candle, means some buyers stepped up in this area right around the 50% retracement level. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the price action continue to kind of travel around this area and consolidate more until we eventually see a breakout above that $29 range. The area of resistance that we also want to keep on is going to be right here at $29. So a close above $29 might send silver a lot higher. Now, if you are wondering whether you should be buying silver now or waiting, we talked about that in the previous video, and we mentioned that we should be buying silver on these type of dips if you were a long-term investor. And then on the gold video, I walked you through how you would go about trading something like this. When you have an overextended move like this red day right here, what we did on the gold video is we went back in history to see how a day like that interacted in the gold markets previously. And what we saw was when you get that overextension, just like in regular technical analysis, we sometimes see snapbacks happen fairly quickly. And as you can see, the market did run up fairly quickly, really quickly, and then we saw a snapback, and then we're seeing a very similar thing take place here where we had this kind of reversal type looking candle, and we saw this snapback from a low of 23.38 and it came up as high as 26.27. So very quickly move up into this area of resistance as 26.12. So 26.12 is going to act as an area of resistance. And you can see right here, there's a reason why I put it there. It got stopped out here originally and then pushed down until we got the breakout, and then it got knocked down and then got knocked down again right here. So a close above this 26.13 would turn this level into support, and it would be nice if we got consolidation within this range for quite some time and then saw the breakout to the upside. That would look extremely bullish for the price of silver. After a volatile move like this, we might see some very interesting price action take place. So where should we make sure that we have some sort of a stop loss if you are trading silver? As far as a stop loss goes, I would be very careful with this 22.28 level. If we do get a close below 22.28, the next level would be that 50 period moving average. It wouldn't be shocking to see it come down to the 50 period moving average. So if you were a long-term investor, these type of moves shouldn't bother you at all, especially if you're going to be holding silver for 5-10 years or even longer, or if you're just using it as a hedge to protect your portfolio, or you're worried about the dollar crashing. These type of moves should be buying opportunities and you should get probably pretty excited about it. However, if you are a trader, you need to be very agile because silver is extremely volatile. If you trade the futures market or options market, you're using a lot of leverage, so you need to be very careful and you have to have stop losses. I'm going to go ahead and remove that 50% retracement level because we did get that pullback already to it. Now it's still a valid area of support, and the reason why I call it support is because the price action is above it, and when the price action is above it, it then is the level of support. This level right here, 22.25, let's call it, that will still hold as a level of support as well. And I would also consider moving it just a tad bit higher to this, maybe let's call it $23 if you want to be more rounded off. And the reason why 23 is still an area of support is because clearly it acted as resistance right here and then support in this range. So it already has price action from both support and resistance levels. And the price right here did basically pull down to that level, almost touching it within. So this level can be called 23 and it could come down as low as 22.27. Typically when we map out support and resistances, there's zones, they're never just a solid hit line. Sometimes it can just map it and hit it perfectly, like right here as a level of resistance and got rejected. So where do I believe that the price of silver is going to be headed from here? Well, with this candle right there, it does seem like we might be either from this point bouncing a little bit more and then consolidating, or we might just pull back a little bit and kind of consolidate in this type of a range. But if we get a break below that 23 to 22, 24 range, I would say, hey, the price of silver has some legs to move a little bit lower. And I'd be very excited to see the price of silver come back to this 50 period moving average, and even right here at around $18.60 from the previous breakout. It is healthy to see retests of these areas, especially on breakouts like this, where the price action is so far overextended from the 200 period moving average. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to answer them in a timely manner. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video.